Welcome to the Dan Sports Tips Euro 2016 previews. DraftKings is now available in the UK. For those of you that are missing fantasy football, you can play daily fantasy every day for DraftKings at whatever stakes you like to win big. I've placed a link for those of you that haven't signed up yet in the description for this video. If you want to click on that link, then sign up and start playing today. That would be fantastic. We need to construct a roster using our 50,000 salary cap to buy one goalkeeper, two defenders, two midfielders, two strikers, and one utility player that can be any player other than a goalkeeper. Points are scored like this. And I'm going to run through my thoughts on some players at every position and how we can construct our rosters today. Starting at goalkeeper, Jan Sommer, the goalkeeper for Switzerland, is 5,000. I think he's the most expensive goalkeeper today. He is that for the very reason that they're playing Albania. The Albanians are likely to play solidly, hope to pick the Swiss off on the counter-attack. Switzerland conceded 8 goals in 10 qualifying games, but if Albania aren't going to come at the Swiss as expected, there's likely to be less chances for Sommer to earn points for saves. I mean, obviously, for every save, he's going to get 2 points. While he's got chances for the clean sheet at 5 points, I'm not sure that 5,000 is poor value, is good value. I'd look at the Albanian keeper, Etrit Berisha, who's 4,200. He's on the books at Lazio. He's the backup. He played in 11 league games this year. He featured in all 8 of Albania's qualifying matchups, where they conceded only 5 goals in 8 games in what wasn't the easiest group. If, as expected, they do sit back and soak up the pressure, playing solid defensive football and looking to hit the Swiss on the break, there should be plenty of chances for him to earn points for the saves. And as the Swiss are not a side that are filled with exactly world-class attacking options. I mean, what you got Shaqiri at Stoke, who top scored for the Swiss in qualifying with just 4 goals. I think there's some outside chances of the clean sheet as well. I could see this game finishing 0-0. I think Berisha of Albania for 4,200 is a pretty solid option in goal. Looking defensively, I think you have to start with Ricardo Rodriguez for 5,100. The Swiss fullback is a large part of what the Swiss do going forward, providing width from the attacking fullback position. Plays for Wolfsburg in Germany. He played all 8 games in qualifying for the Swiss. As I said earlier, they only conceded 8 goals in 10 qualifying games. Half of those goals were scored by the English, who are a far superior attacking threat than today's opposition in Albania. If Albania do, as I expect, sit back and counter-attack, Rodriguez should have plenty of opportunity to maraud forward and compile points for crosses and general forward play. I mean, every cross is worth 0.75 as well, so I think Rodriguez is a really solid player in defence today. His colleague at central defence, Fabian Schär for Switzerland, the Hoffenheim cornerback, centre-back, did score twice in 6 qualifiers that he started. He is expected to start today in the centre of defence for the Swiss. With Albania likely set up to be difficult to break down in this game, you do wonder if Schär getting forward at a set piece may be some of the better opportunities the Swiss will have to score a goal. And there are fairly strong chances of a clean sheet as well. That being said, if the Albanians do sit back, then there are going to be less chances for tackling points to mount up for the Swiss defenders. Obviously, they do get a point for every successful tackle. Nathaniel Klein for England for 5,000. The fullbacks, particularly if the English do start with a midfield diamond. I mean, we don't know what formation Hodgson's going to use today. They are encouraged to get forward in the English system. Contrary to popular belief, Klein got the nod over his rival for the position in the team, Kyle Walker, in most of the qualifying matches, featuring in 6 of the games. Likely due to what are, in my opinion, better defensive prowess over Kyle Walker. The Russians in opposition today are a team that historically don't travel well, particularly well domestically when it comes to European competition, and I think that England will certainly be looking to get off to a flyer today, and Klein could get forward and score some points, particularly against a Russian team that looks a bit weak at fullback and sort of old centre-back. I think they are a little bit suspect defensively. And El Said, I'm trying with the names, El Said Haisaj of Albania for 3,800. As I stated, I do expect Albania to sit back and soak up pressure, but the young Napoli fullback does like to get forward, and he can form part of any counter-attack, providing width on the occasions that Albania do strike and venture forward. With the Swiss a little light up front, I'm not going to rule out a clean sheet for the Albanians today. Moving on into midfield players, Marek Hamsik of Slovakia for 8,000. Hamsik top scored for the Slovakians with 5 goals in qualifying. He is the star of their team. He's the player that everything does go through. He's the playmaker. Plays for Napoli. Will be heavily involved in the game. This game is one that both the Slovakians and the Welsh will be targeting as must-win if they want to progress in the tournament. And Hamsik is the key to unlocking those aspirations for Slovakia. And I think he's worth the $8,000. Aaron Ramsey for Wales is 8,100. Wales is the second. Ramsey's the second best player in the Welsh team. He's a full head and shoulders behind Gareth Bale, who is truly world class. The Arsenal man, who has had a somewhat disappointing year for the Gunners, may well see a bit more space and get more freedom in the middle of the park, as you can imagine that the Slovakians will focus their efforts solely on trying to stop Gareth Bale today. Bale scored the lion's share of the Welsh goals in qualifying. I think he got 7 of the 11. But Ramsey did chip in with 2 himself. As the Welsh are likely to be looking to get forward and attack, Ramsey will have plenty of opportunities to rack up the points if afforded the space, and he proved 2 seasons ago at Arsenal that he is capable of being deadly going forward at times. The other midfielder I want to look at is Jack Wilshere of England for 5,000. Now, will Wilshere start? We don't know. Is he fit enough? A fit and healthy Wilshere is a must start, in my opinion, for the England team, and I suspect Roy Hodgson agrees with me. The knock on Wilshere, no pun intended, is that he cannot stay healthy, hence the Jack Wheelchair nickname, but he's about as influential a player in midfield going forward England have, and can affect a game with freedom ahead of a solid Eric Dier in a holding position to link the midfield with the forward line. He scored 2 crucial goals in qualifying in a 3-2 win against Slovenia, and he only made 5 qualifying appearances due to injury problems. If he's healthy to start, he must be used in, I think, for 5,000 today. You want to see the England team early, as with the England game being the last game on the day, you might be in a spot of bother with your teams if you do put Wilshere in and then he doesn't play. So my suggestion would be you use your utility spot for Jack Wilshere, and then if he doesn't play, you can switch him out for another player that you could afford with your 5,000. Looking up front, as I said, I think Albania v Switzerland has got low scoring written all over it, because I do think that the Albanians are going to try and suppress that game for attacking quality and sort of hit the Swiss on the counter-attack, and neither team scores a lot themselves. The Welsh team don't appear to have a lot of goals past Bale, and I think Bale might end up being in quite a lot of teams, and I'm looking to sort of fade him and look for value elsewhere, as the Slovakians will put a lot of effort into stopping him and trying to eliminate him from the game. If they can do that, then we'll see, I guess. The main Slovakian threat, as I said earlier, comes from the midfield player Hamsik. That leaves the England-Russia game when it comes to forwards, and I can't really put anybody off of Harry Kane. He was the leading scorer in the Premier League this season. However, I'm going to play Wayne Rooney for 8,800. Yes, he was crap for Manchester United this year. He's been deployed deeper for Manchester United. That being said, he did top score for England in qualifying with 7 in 8 games, and they were 1 per game as well, so it was consistent goal scoring. He will also likely take any penalties that England are awarded. The England captain will be involved in what England do heavily, scoring in 7 straight qualifiers. He's the most experienced striker in the squad. I think he's a must start today against a Russian backline that's missing some key components and ageing in other areas. It could be argued that a player with pace, such as Vardy or Rashford, would be better deployed against the Russians, but I don't think Hodgson's going to be that bold as to drop his captain, and I think you need to have Rooney in your lineups today. And Artem Zayuba of Russia for 8,200. The Russians, not a team that tend to travel that well, are led up front by the Zenit striker Zayuba, who scored 8 in 8 in qualifying as the third high, and he was also the 3rd highest scorer in the UEFA Champions League this year. He's the likeliest player to take advantage of what is a somewhat shaky England backline. The central defence is the weak link in the England team, and the Russians are also going to be looking to get this tournament off to a flying start. Those are my thoughts and tips for daily fantasy for today's Euro 2016 games. Best of luck if you do have a play today. I'm going to try and do a video every day. If so, I'll see you tomorrow.